Before this video starts, I'd like to share some of the YCH commissions, adoptables, and custom adopts I have available for you guys. I have a handful of YCH drawings, which means your character here drawings. You send me your character, I draw them in this pose. I have a Halloween edition YCH right here called Spill Your Guts. If you are interested in it, here's all of the ways you can contact me. And if you're interested in any of these adoptables, YCHs, commissions, and or customs, let me know and you can message me on any social media platform. And also, here is the Drawtober challenge. Here's the Drawtober list I will be using for this month of October, made by me, yours truly. I call it my McKween challenge because McKean, Halloween, you get it. If you'd like to follow along and use this prompt list, go right ahead to do so, but make sure to tag me in anything you make. Let's move on with the video. Okay, moving right along, here's the first prompt I'll be working with, which is jack-o'-lantern. The prompts that I chose, I tried to keep everything specific that I could work on with a character because the sketchbook I've been working on all of 2022 is very character-based themed. I wanted one of my characters on every single page, so that's what we'll be focusing on for all of these drawings. For this first drawing, I really wanted to dip into inks because for last Drawtober, I had been following Inktober and was all about working with inks. I loved it so much. It became one of my favorite art mediums. My whole plan for the first 4 prompts was to do them in acrylic inks, but that didn't set out to be what I was going to do, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Not really that big of a deal because there is no set boundaries for this. It's just, you just draw whatever you want. And for this one, it took me about 4 or 5 hours to do. I decided to draw my character Bluma with a jack-o'-lantern because she's like my nature witch. She makes potions and she grows gardens and stuff, so I thought it'd be a great idea to draw her with some jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. And my idea as I was drawing this was that I would mix in some watercolor with my inks and then color it that way, but I got cross-hatching happy with my inks because I hadn't used them in so long. And as I was doing this, I was like, I need to figure out another plan. I need to do it fast. What am I going to do? So I decided that I wanted light emitting out of the jack-o'-lanterns because nothing gives jack-o'-lantern life much like fire and flame. I decided to grab my acrylic paints and I grabbed my yellow paint and I decided to create that light emitting from the jack-o'-lantern by taking some acrylic paint and just dry brushing it onto the page. But before I did that, I made sure to put everything in the background to grayscale before I jumped into anything. So I grabbed my inks and I watered them down, make sure everything in the background was shaded the way I wanted to. I could always jump back in and fix it if I felt something was not shaded correctly, but I set out to put all my shadows down and then I grabbed my acrylic paint, started adding that highlight that I thought would be there. I tried to keep the highlights in a circle and add some color where the highlight and light was coming from. And then I added some flames coming out of the eyes and mouth in order to give that light, flame, life through the fire and the flames texture, if you will. And if you're wondering what's in the background, by the way, I didn't say this, it's leaves and like stems. This picture's very busy, I understand. A lot of my art ends up like that, like unnecessarily and unconsciously, so you know what, we're gonna go with it. Bluma is green, her hair is like a light green, her skin's a dark green, so I didn't really need to stretch my imagination that far. I added the yellow to her eyes and added some little light flames to that, and I finished the rest of the pumpkin. Oh, I forgot. I added some light flames to her eyes, and then I went in and saw that I didn't really like the way the ink and acrylic sat with each other, so I grabbed my black Prismacolored pencil and I decided to give my inks a bit of a more of a painterly look, and I added that as a texture on top of the inks and kind of transitioned those shadows out more. And then I grabbed my white Jelly Roll pen because I felt like there was so many competing things that nothing really had a border, so I went in and added a white border around her and some of the pumpkins and leaves that are layered on top, and that is drawing number 1, jack-o'-lantern. Our second prompt here is Candy. Now this drawing is not my favorite of the bunch. It's actually probably my least favorite, but I realized that I have to do bad art in order to do good art, so I'm more okay with this drawing than I'm living with it. I'm truly living with it. I don't like it. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but we're moving on. First, I got my sketch down, which was a mess. I just didn't do a very good job with getting everything down, and then I went in and lined it, and the line art turned out pretty good. I'm not mad about it. I like it a lot, but I decided that I wanted to go for a pop art sticker kind of feel, so I grabbed my alcohol markers and it smudged, and I cannot tell you that I can't describe the just like a terrible feeling I had after just struggling through the sketch and then struggling through the liner and then having it smear on the face and then just throwing my marker on the desk and being like, I'm gonna cry. Just having a mental breakdown over it, but I quickly picked myself back up and I was like, I can fix this. I'm better than this. So I decided to pull out my colored pencils and try to fix what I had done. I even out the skin with the marker, avoiding the lines because I didn't want the skin to feel like two different shades, one on her face and one on everywhere else. So I finished the marker there and I grabbed my colored pencils and just tried to shade the skin and add color everywhere else. The color choices here are okay, probably not my greatest. Claire's colors don't really look like this. Her hair is not orange, but it is what it is, and I like the composition of this drawing. I like that there's candy falling and there's 3 candy baskets around her, but that's pretty much it. The only thing that saved my enjoyment for this drawing is that I was so beaten down for this, and I was like, I need to do something fun. I need to do something just stupid. So I grabbed kids paint that I had sitting across the room that I've been waiting for to do a video on. And I used that for the background, and I was actually shocked because these paints were like unnecessarily decent. Like they were like when I go to do a painting of just kids paints, I'm probably gonna be like, wow, this is fun. But I decided to just throw that down because I was like, what else do I have to lose? This drawing's like terrible. I hate it. So I went ahead and did that, and by the time I got that done, I wanted this to end. I was like, I liked that, but I want to be over with, so I sloppily did everything else and added a pink shadow to the objects. Good idea. Debatable. I made a lot of debatable decisions that were okay. But that is drawing number 2, Candy, with my character Claire. The prompt is, I forgot. The prompt for this drawing is Skeleton, which has my lovely character Rosanna. You have seen her multiple times. I love her. She's my little Cyclops princess. Oh my gosh, she's adorable. Anyway, this is one of my favorite drawings of her. This is actually my favorite drawing I did for the first 4 days of McKween Drawtober. And I was watching different YouTube videos of these artists doing like landscape and traveling artists just using watercolor, and I am not someone who can just use only watercolor. Like I'm not very good at it. Like I always have to have some sort of like line art before. But I decided to, give it a try because I was like, if my last drawing failed me, fine. And if this drawing fails me, at least I'm trying something new. So you live and you learn. But with all these artists, I noticed that they'd start out with like a colored pencil. So I went ahead and did that. I started out with my pink colored pencil. It's not a color erase colored pencil, but it'll do. And I started to get my basic shapes down with the watercolor. I was using the Derwent watercolor palette thing. It's not one of my favorite watercolor palettes, but it is now because of this drawing. I only used watercolor for painting row, except for the sketch, of course. And I was super proud of myself. One of the things I struggle with is patience in real life, but sometimes in art I shock myself and I'm pretty patient about doing things. So being able to control each layer and just sit and wait and be able to think about what to do next is like really beneficial for me. I think that's what I lacked in the last drawing, and I wasn't able to focus and get something done because I was just moving so quickly. I just wanted it done. But this one, I took my time, I was patient about it, and I let each layer dry, and I really focused and doubled down on this one. And you'll see that I added a black background, and the ending drawing, it changes. That's because I didn't like how the like black and blue background I added looked. I felt like it just didn't match the drawing I did of Row. The colors just weren't how I wanted them, so I grabbed a pink colored pencil and I just went over it to warm up the background with the black, and then I grabbed a dark blue and dark pink color pencil, and I kind of added just some little scribbled lines and some texture, and then I added some white sparkle with acrylic paint. And that is drawing number 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Moving on to drawing number 4, the last drawing. This one, moving off from the high that drawing 3rd gave me, I decided to do another watercolor drawing, and I started out with my colored pencil once again. The prompt for this one is witch, and I decided to draw Dorothy. This is a little off of what Dorothy looks like. I only have one good reference of her, and it's in a sketchbook that I can't find. So, you know what? We're working with it. And the reason I chose her for the prompt witch is because she's like my little pillow princess. I've always imagined that she's like the kind of like sassy girl to own like the fluffiest fat cat ever. You know what I'm talking about, but like it's the meanest cat in the world. So that's what I wanted to do. So I drew a little cat sitting on the broom with her, and I gave her a little witch hat, and her colors are primary red and green, so I had a really fun time drawing her because it was a really easy color scheme. It was very nice, very like a good fresh of breath air that I didn't have to think so hard on the colors. This drawing I tried not to do such a dark line art because her personality is very bright and bubbly, and I wanted that to come across. I didn't want it to be heavy and gloomy, so I kept her fairly bright. I went in and added a dark background to make her pop a bit more, and I went in and added some texture, some lines with my colored pencil, and some like swirls and some circles, and that is about it for this drawing. Let me know which one's your favorite. The first jack-o'-lantern, candy, and skeleton, and witch. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to put them in the comments below. Once again, message me for any commissions, YCH Adoptables Customs. I'm open for anything. Thank you so much for watching. And if you do join this Drawtober challenge, let me know. I have a Discord down below that you can join and share your art as well as share anything else. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back with day 5 to 8.